My name's Damien John Knott. I'm from Dunedoo, New South Wales, Australia.
So Damien, how did it all start?
How did it all start? How did it start earlier?
Well, if you wanted a brief recap of the earlier bit to get onto the main bit while we're here.
Well, I started seeing UFOs when I was 9 years old. It went from there, and I've seen them my whole life, basically. I've had strange feelings, gone outside, taken photographs of weird things in the sky. I hadn't seen them at the time, but they've shown up in photographs. Basically, other times I've gone outside and after a strange feeling at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and not knowing why, sort of on autopilot, and then something's been there hanging in the sky. Then I've seen it take off at a strange angle, just gone. That's happened quite a few times, but recently it's magnified 100 times since I've moved up here 8 months ago. I've just had, since the second night I was here, saw a massive ball of light cruising over the back shed over in this direction, and over the house along the back here, and it was so light, it was actually illuminating the tiles on the roof as it was going over, and it disappeared somewhere behind a shed up here. And ever since that night, I've known that, you know, they've followed me up here, or there's a lot of activity going on up here. So I've been coming out and having various nighttime observations, been getting family involved as well. Multiple family members have seen it, the phenomena around here. Up to 80 people now have come up here from all around Australia to look at the phenomena themselves and seeing things they can't identify or can't explain. And it's just gone from there, basically. Sydney Morning Herald journalists were in town for the fire, and they were told about what was going on up here.
But the killer angle I'm interested in, when you started to film this stuff, then you contacted the UFO groups. How helpful have they been so far?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say about 4 out of 10. They've been somewhat helpful, some of them. You know, other ones have been absolutely out here for their own ego and ego trips. Seems there's a lot of that in this field. A lot of people seem to want to publish their own stories. They don't want you to do this, they don't want you to do that until they say so. And it's just phenomenal. There's no real cohesion in the groups. Everybody seems to be, you know, out for themselves, basically. And you have your presidents of groups and you have your committee members, and everyone's against everyone, and it's just phenomenal. There's no actual proper structure in this, you know, procedures. The procedures have gone out the door. We're not as structured as America with MUFON, with what they do, and Australia's lagging behind in that field.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you contacted some groups in Australia, they never bothered to respond, most of them.
Yeah. I've got back to a gentleman from UFO Research Queensland, and he never responded back to me.
And what about Australia, with that name, Australia's largest one, they butchered everything too as well.
They basically put my sighting out, one of the sightings I reported in August, they put it out onto their Facebook page because they had no investigators out here. So a gentleman called Scott picked up on it and came out and saw me, and yeah, it's gone from there, basically. But basically the main guys at AFON never bothered with this.
And still haven't, have they?
No, not really. They're quite uninterested. I've had Lorraine Cilia, she's the head of AFON, New South Wales. She's been out here with her husband Dom, and we had a few sightings that night. Got some really incredible footage, and, you know, stuff that they can't explain either, as satellites or anything like that. And you know, strange lights interacting in the sky with each other. You know, lights just appearing around other lights, and you saw the fly just attacking me. Sorry.
No, I was listening to the background. I've got to say, you've got some of the best starlight, best footage I've ever seen come out of Australia. So the paradox is they don't seem to be interested in a guy getting repeat sightings with video.
No, well, the thing is that I haven't claimed that I've been abducted by aliens.
So you need that, don't you?
I need to claim that I've been abducted by aliens. Unfortunately, from what I've seen anyway, the people who make these claims without evidence seem to be put up on a pedestal by everybody else in the UFO community. I shouldn't say everybody, because a lot of people are still evidence-based, and a lot of people do want the truth to come out and see that the only way that's going to happen is if we continue to get good photographic and video evidence. Otherwise, there's a lot of people in this field that are dragging the field down. They have been doing so for a long time by making exuberant claims without evidence whatsoever. But people seem to jump on them, and take their word as gospel, you know, without proof or evidence.
Well, they've got nothing to back it up the claim.
No. Well, I've seen some amazing things that I've just really wanted an explanation for. That's all I ever wanted, was somebody to tell me what's going on. But now I realise that no one out there can tell me what's going on.
And from your perspective, not really interested in having a look at your stuff anyway to tell you what's going on.
Well, no, not really. I mean, I've done a couple of talks for AFON. I've done a talk for AFON. I've done a talk for PRSA, Paranormal Research Australia, and a talk for UFO New South Wales at Castlereagh Street at the Masonic Centre. And a lot of people were very interested in there when I did the talk, you know. And but it seems like as soon as somebody comes out to Australia who's from another country who makes a claim that, you know, I've been abducted or I've talked to aliens, or not mentioning any names, but they seem to be taken more serious than us guys out here on the ground who are actually getting physical evidence.
You feel like you've got sort of pushed aside?
Oh yeah. I think that happens to everybody in this field. The more exuberant your claims are, the more attention that you seem to get from people in this field, unfortunately.
So I gather ufologists have not been flocking here in great numbers when they should be.
Oh no, not in great numbers. No. I was told that the head of UFologist magazine, one of the Frollers, was not even interested in my footage. He saw a couple of my YouTube clips and said, I'm unimpressed. And I just thought, okay, well, he obviously hasn't seen my new footage with the starlight.
Because he could contact your channel or ask you, couldn't he?
Yeah, I've had nothing from him or any of the guys up there about it. I've had other people say that it could be this or it could be that, but no one's got a definite explanation. I've heard strange things from skeptic websites saying that, you know, he obviously is seeing something, but he must be seeing space debris, or he must be seeing St. Elmo's fire, which is a strange rare phenomena in itself. You know, anything that would go against, you know, aliens, because people just don't seem to be, you know, it affects a lot of people's paradigm of their existence, what they believe in. And I put it in a way, it's like cracking their little eggshell open and, you know, letting some of the truth in. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just open some people's minds to what's going on. That's why I'm bothering this. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not saying I'm getting paid for it. It's not a field that, you know, you get international wide acclaim, unless of course you've been abducted.
Yep.
You're claiming that, but, you know, otherwise it's off your own bat. It's off your own expense. And also ridicule. The ridicule factor is phenomenal. People just seem to, as soon as you say you're the UFO guy in town because you've seen some strange things and you've bothered to ask a question or two, what is it that you're seeing? But people just seem to think that, okay, put you in a basket straight away, that you're absolutely crazy. And that's not the truth at all.
Even though you're videotaping what you're claiming.
Even though I'm videotaping them, doing spectacular manoeuvres in the sky, changing direction at the drop of a hat and speeding off, you know, leaving golden streaks in the sky.
With multiple witnesses with you sometimes.
With multiple witnesses sometimes as well. Air Force major, a police officer. I've been contacted by police officers from surrounding areas. Just had one come up from Adelaide the other day and had a couple sightings with me, and he filmed on my starlight scope 2 UFOs following each other through the sky, very low and then just disappearing. One was catching up to the other one, and you know, it's the same thing that the Sydney Morning Herald guys saw, but they contacted a gentleman at the observatory in the city, some astronomer, who said that they were more than likely satellites.
But could you just clarify what the journalists saw?
Oh, they saw 2 balls of light coming directly over the house here, straight up coming over, and they were very, very low. They were definitely not satellites. I've seen dozens of satellites since I've been here, hundreds of them. And these were definitely not satellites. These were moving in tandem at first, and then all of a sudden, directly one behind the other one, straight up here, heading in a southerly direction. And basically the one behind the leading UFO was catching up to it, and then the other UFO would speed up, and the other one would catch up to it again, and then that happened all the way across the sky. And even the journalist Tim Barlass himself said they can't be satellites. They're not satellites. Satellites don't behave in that respect. And also, it's not just that, the height as well. These things are extremely low and extremely bright. They were not satellites, and all of us in the backyard at the time, there was 4 of us there, including Mariana Flynn, president of UFO New South Wales, and she was saying herself they're not satellites. We all knew they weren't satellites, but yet they had to get an opposing viewpoint for the website, for the article in the Sydney Morning Herald that they did on me. So they needed to get, you know, some sort of skeptic viewpoint or some sort of scientific viewpoint of what it could be. And I was contacted the day before the article came out by Tim Barlass, saying that he'd contacted a gentleman who mentioned that they were tandem satellites. two satellites moving, and I've done a little bit of research myself, and I found out the tandem satellites that are left in the world is one Department of Defence satellite, an NOAA satellite. That travels always in a northwesterly direction, whereas these two were travelling directly behind each other, catching up to each other, and that's not the behaviour of satellites, I'm afraid. Oh, I've had people rock up in town here. I've had people hang outside in cars, lifting up notepads, staring at me, and then when I approach the car, they take off in a hurry down towards the main street. I've had two helicopters come over, one at 6:15 a.m. in the morning, hover directly above the house here for about 30-40 seconds, and then take off. Woke up half the town. Everyone was talking about it for a couple of days because it's not something that normally happens around here, especially at that hour of the morning, and a helicopter around Dunedoo is very rare. So all of a sudden we got two in 1 week, straight after I came out to the press about the UFOs.
Some sort of break-in, wasn't you mentioned that too?
Yeah, we had someone try to break in here as well while we were asleep in the house, and they didn't get in because the chains blocked them. But I think and the police mentioned it must have been a scare tactic more than anything, because they said if they got through your main lock, it would be easy to get through the two chains. So that was the only thing that was holding them back, so it was quite unusual. And nothing was stolen. I had over $1,000 worth of tools, power tools out on the front deck, and none of them were touched. So if it was someone trying to steal something from the house, you'd think they'd grabbed some power tools that was right there. So that never happened, and so the police thought it was quite unusual what was going on there. And I mean, I've had death threats, I've had all types of people contact me from
crank phone calls,
crank phone calls every single day. I'm still getting them. I got another 2 yesterday. So yeah, it's been pretty constant, pretty full on ever since I came out with the press. I've had 3 emails now blocked that I've had to change and get new email addresses because they started rocking up a day or two late and then in bulk, so I'd get 15, 20 at once, and they were rocking up in my spam folder as if someone was going through them like a third party, then forwarding them on to me. And I got told that by the Air Force gentleman that was what they'd be doing. That's what they were going to be doing. They're going to be monitoring you. They have been doing so for a while now, all this sort of stuff. I've had sightings years ago where I had helicopters hover above my house at Ryde, and my ex-girlfriend and I were out the back and filming, it's up on my YouTube site, filming this helicopter with flashes coming out of a black bubble underneath. And I saw the same black bubble helicopter hover over the house here, and it was witnessed by a few of us. So it was quite strange, and it directly over the house. It didn't go in any other direction, just slowly straight over this house here. Black bubble sticking out of the bottom. Didn't see a flash go off that time, but maybe they got better equipment now. They don't need the flash, who knows. It's just really bizarre. It's not something that I can easily explain. And I got told that a gentleman, a police officer from the city, he contacted me and told me, it's great that you've come out. We've had sightings ourselves, but we can't talk to anybody about it. It's good that you have. And he said, I'll support you if you want to be a liaison between the police. Want me to be a liaison for you if you ever need to talk to the police about it. And or if anything happens to you, sort of thing. And so I was just like, oh, that's great, and he mentioned that they've had sightings. I had 2 police officers from Orange contact me and mentioned they've had sightings on New Year's Eve, and they've actually filmed one from their police car on New Year's Eve, a great big orange ball of light.
On their telephones or something?
No, on their actual dashboard cameras. So they filmed a huge orange ball of light cruising over their car.
Has anyone tried to retrieve that footage at all?
I got told that I was going to be sent a copy, but never received one.
Right.
So I've received emails from federal government websites, actual federal government email addresses. I've still got them. So it's
with staff just asking questions about what you're doing?
A couple of people asking questions, a couple of people backing me up, saying if I ever need help. I've had other crackpots from the city tell me that if I don't stop what I'm doing, then I'll disappear quicker than Jesus did. And you don't know if it's hard to take,
Yep.
it seriously or not. You got to take everything serious, because there's a lot of crackpots out there that want to, don't want this truth to come out. So you never really know what's going on. I've received letters from around Australia, some threatening, some nice, and so it's touched a few people, and that's all I wanted to do, was open up a few people's minds to the possibility of what's going on out there.
What's your best footage show?
My best footage to show?
What does it show primarily?
Okay, my best footage. I've got daytime footage in high definition camera on my Panasonic of 2 UFOs. I had a strange feeling, a really intense feeling that they were around, so I came outside with my camera, pointed up at the sky, zoomed in on one spot along a contrail that was left by a jet, and zoomed in on this one spot. Never saw anything at the time, But in the footage it shows, and when you slow it down to like 3% original speed, it shows two UFOs interacting with each other, diving above the first contrail, then under the second, going past the other one while the other one is hovering, and then the other one takes off when this one passes, and they pass each other. The other one does the same maneuver that the first UFO did, so it goes over, then under the contrail. So some sort of intelligence there, it stops and does a 90-degree left-hand turn and takes off northeast before another direction change as well. And all this happened in less than probably about a second. But slowing right down, you can see the footage. And I know for a fact that birds don't travel at 33,000 and 40,000 feet.
At that speed? At
that speed, especially.
Yeah.
But the highest migrating bird is an Irish geese that was clocked at 29,000 feet years ago. And that was observed by ground radar and also by a civilian air pilot. So, and that's in the Guinness Book of Records. Anyone can check that out. So since then, that was back in 1988 that happened. That's the highest ever. Contrails, as anyone knows, form between 33 and 40,000 feet. So that rules out any type of bird straight off the bat. So if anyone can explain what that footage is to me, that's a good bit of daytime footage I've got as well. But I've got some really good nighttime footage, early evening footage before dusk as well, of gigantic orange balls cruising over the town, changing directions. I got footage of one orange ball that I had a sighting with the AFON President of New South Wales, Lorraine Celia, and her husband, Dom. And we watched this orange ball go straight over our heads, and it was flashing. It was getting small, big, small, big. It was like expanding, getting... Anyway, it was giving off a... it was very strange. No noise, no anything, just straight over our heads. And then all of a sudden, just over the neighbour's roof here, another one started coming towards this object as it was moving. Then all of a sudden, when they got near each other, one of the objects stops, the ones that was heading towards us, it stopped in the air, and then as the other one went past it, another object appeared directly above those two objects and formed a triangle, a perfect equilateral triangle. And then the original object that was moving over, heading in an easterly direction, that continued to move and moved past the first two objects while they hung there in the sky and slowly moved up in the air pretending to be stars. It was just bizarre, and we all saw it, and it was viewed by binoculars by multiple witnesses. I got really good footage of it on my infrared night scope. So a lot of these things, I've got some really good footage also during the daytime. It was nowhere near dark yet either. It was about 7:30, it's about a month and a half ago, of a large ball that I can only see in the infrared view. It was not visible to the naked eye. I just had a feeling there was something around, so I started scanning around the skies with it. That's an infrared night scope set up for daytime footage, one of the new digital ones. And
yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. And this object was invisible to the naked eye, obviously, and I was picking up on the starlight scope during the day, and there was absolutely no stars out, no anything. It was still probably another hour and a half away till sunset. And this object was cruising over behind the in the easterly direction. It was heading from south to north, and basically it was stopping in the air, then continuing to move, stopping again, continuing to move, reversing back on itself, because it was going behind trees and blocking my view. So it was almost going back to show me more of itself, say, here you go, get some more footage of us. And I've got probably about 3 or 4 minutes worth of footage of this object, and invisible to the naked eye.
Do you think some of the things you're filming, there's an awareness between you and these things?
Oh, definitely.
They're reacting?
There's some sort of reaction taking place there, because I've looked up, I've seen two of them heading towards each other in the sky, and I've seen them react to each other. They stop right in front of each other, and one has done a loop around the other one in a matter of a second, and then continued its journey after flashing at each other like this. And then the other ones continue going this way. So, I mean, what could do that? I've never heard of a weather balloon that can do that.
And you played with lasers too at some of them as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a bit of footage where recently there's these things we call the flashes in the sky. Quite a lot of us have seen them guys. They seem to sort of stay in one area. They'll flash you, and then they'll disappear, and you won't see them. It's a very bright flash. All of a sudden, 20 seconds later, 30 seconds later, you'll see another bright flash. It's just, in a way, it's like to capture your attention. And I've actually pointed a laser at one of these flashes in the direction it was coming in, and had my camera on a tripod, the night vision camera. And when I pointed a laser at it, this thing's flashed straight back at me. So I'd do 2 flashes, it would do 2 flashes back at me. and then I waited a few seconds, another flash, and then I'd get another flash back at me. So whatever these things are, it's like they're letting you know that, hey, how you going? We're down here. And I've actually thought things before, like especially when I've had people here, you know, can you guys do something? Show us that you're not a satellite, or show us that you're not just a random ball of light moving in the sky. Then all of a sudden they'll just stop, or they'll veer to the left, or they'll veer to the right. Other ones have just stopped and done a full 90-degree left or right-hand turn, and then taken off in like that, in a flash. You know, and it's been witnessed by multiple people too, and everybody who's seen them says, no, they're not satellites, they're not this, they're not that, especially when they come in low, no one can confuse them with a satellite. I've seen them up near the window, up near my back window over here, you know, 2:30 in the morning, and lighting up the whole room basically, this strange bluey white light. And when I looked at this thing, I lifted up the blinds, it was a perfect sphere, probably the size of a basketball. It wasn't very big at all. It was very, very tiny. You know, I've caught these guys on film heading down towards the city as well. They seem to follow the car or wherever I go.
Sorry to interrupt. You've also caught balls of light and horseshoe-shaped things in this backyard with this.
Yeah. And I've caught balls of light in the backyard here too.
And that flying horseshoe you've got, that's mad.
Yeah, that was very strange. I had a feeling that something was around, so I set the camera up you loaned me, the Sony infrared camera, next to my high-definition camera, shone a torch into the backyard, and within 30 seconds of this 30-minute footage, this bizarre horseshoe-shaped thing just flew down from the back shed over the back here, all the way down towards me and towards my window where I was shooting in the matter of less than half a second. And that's 16 meters all the way back up there, and whatever can travel that fast, you know, it's just phenomenal in half a second.
What the hell is it though? It looks like a tube. I've seen them before. It's a tubular horseshoe shape.
It looks like a horseshoe that's flying forward, constant forward flight, like almost like the shape of a boomerang, but more rounded, with the perfect shadowing and everything. And I just can't explain it. It seems to leave a trail in the behind it as well. So that's something else that I can't explain too. So it's quite strange. There's a lot of strange little things that we've been seeing here, like big red birds with 4 wings, 2 sticking out the back, 2 underneath, and they're gigantic, they're huge, and they're red. It's very strange. Looks like a giant bat, but a skeleton of a bat, but with 4 wings.
Is it night or daytime?
Daytime.
Right.
Yeah, I've got footage of this during the daytime. And yeah, no one could explain. When I showed at the meeting, I showed the objects, the strange objects. No one could explain what they were, and everyone was saying they were some sort of spaceship out of Star Trek or Star Wars. And you know, I'm not too big into Star Wars or Star Trek, but you know, whatever people's interpretation is, they're really bizarre. No one can explain what they are.
What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Night of Truth 79. I'm going to continue my investigations into this because I really need to know an answer for myself, and probably form a tight-knit group around me of serious investigators, which is what, you know, needs to be done in this field. Everyone is too discombobulated, you know, in this whole... Everybody seems a little bit too out there in this field, and I want someone who's going to focus on the real evidence, which is video and photographic evidence. You know, trace cases, that whole kit. You know, they're quite rare, obviously, but the best we can do to convince people of the truth of this is to get verified real footage.
And you're certainly doing that.
Well, I'm attempting to. I'm trying to, and I feel it's like a goal of mine to do that. It's more than just a goal to me. It's basically my life. Since I was 9 years old, I had a red ball of light follow me up the road out of Blacktown. And I was on my skateboard, and every time I'd stop on my skateboard and move forward, this light would follow me. It would stop and start, stop and start. And this was a constant thing. This kept happening. So it always, and I remember running up to because I ended up running the rest of the way. It scared me. So I jumped on the balcony, and I said to my mum, I went inside and said, there's a red light following me up the street, a red ball of light. And she said, oh, it's probably an aeroplane. But I thought, hold on, it can't be an aeroplane. Even at the age of 9, I was like, hold on a sec, no, there's something wrong with that. And but yeah, repeated times this has happened during my life, and not just with red balls, like orange balls, white balls of light, all sorts of strange things. During the 2000 Olympic Games, I was working at Homebush Stadium on the Olympic torch, and I saw a saucer stop above me and then fly towards Bondi from Homebush. and I just like that, and there was an electrician working down on the side of the steps, and I said to him, "Did you see that?" And he said, "This is towards the end of the day, mind you," and he said, "No, you're probably getting a bit too much sun, mate. You know, in other words, it's nothing what you saw, sort of thing. You're probably imagining it, you know." And I just, okay, well, shut up. You got to watch out who you tell in this field about what's going on, because a lot of people will, unfortunately, take the piss and say, you know, it's just human conditioning. It's the way we're conditioned to believe and think, you know, that we are alone and we are the ultimate in the universe, and it's not true. There's so much more out there, and I've seen it that many times. You know, I wish I could take my eyeballs out and put them in someone else.
The trouble is, too, you're trying to bring something out that's profound when the TV shows are obsessed with, you know, house renovations, cooking and weight loss.
Exactly, reality TV.
Yeah.
Well, this is the biggest reality show in history, and this should be getting more precedence over Big Brother or anything like that. You know, this is the story of why we're here. This is, you know, the questions that we've been asking ourselves since, you know, I'm sure everybody on this planet has at one stage or another sat back and thought, you know, about all the little nuances of life and, you know, why we're here. And I'm sure it's, you know, an answer that it's not easy to find, but we just got to keep poking at it and try to get to, you know, some sort of fundamental base of, then we can work up from there.